be?
It's kind of weird not to know the camera's here but not look right at it. So that's...
Okay, so this is our Green Party candidate, Thomas Cheney, who has come to Strathcona Elementary to help kids better understand government and democracy and to help with their student vote happening tomorrow. So on behalf of Strathcona, welcome.
Thank you very much. Now, the Green Party's plan for Canada involves making Canada more sustainable. That means moving away from polluting sources of energy and creating an economy that reuses natural resources. For example, I notice around here there's some recycling. What we want to do is we want to make sure that everything can be used over and over and over again or composted so it doesn't impact the natural environment. Another important issue for the Green Party is the quality of our democracy. Right now, 30 to 40% of the vote can give a political party a majority of the seats in the House of Commons. The problem with that is the majority of the people didn't necessarily vote for these parties. We don't think that's fair. What we want is a proportional voting system. So if a party gets a quarter of the popular vote, they get a quarter of the seats. Another thing that we would do is reduce the power of the Prime Minister's office and make sure that Parliament is more powerful and can actually represent your interests in Ottawa, rather than having decisions come from a top-down level. Another concern is the economy. The economy right now is not doing very well. What we want to do is we want to invest in infrastructure to create jobs, as well as fix the financial system. Climate change is also a major threat. In order to reduce climate change emissions, we want to put in a market solution. So that means putting a price on carbon to reduce greenhouse gas emissions while doing it in a low-cost way. That's it.
Okay, so if you could just summarize those one more time. The three were the economy,
climate change and sustainability more broadly, and the quality of our democracy.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. So we have some questions for you. If you're asking a question, if you could say your first name before you ask the question, and then I'll repeat it just for the microphone. So if you have a question, could you raise your hand? But if you want a student that wants to ask a question? Okay. Do you want to?
Je m'appelle Liam, Mr. Cheng, vous bien? Bilan? Are you bilingual?
No. It's something I would like to learn. I took a couple of years of French immersion, so my French is at probably less than a grade 1 level. Ne pas parler français.
Thank you.
So the question was what?
Am I bilingual? And no, ne pas parler français. Go ahead.
My name is Marissa Chilliwack. Why do you want to be elected?
So the question is, why do you want to be elected?
It's more that I want to help implement certain policies. The idea of me personally being elected isn't that important. What matters more is that the ideas that work and the solutions that Canada need are implemented. I don't really care if it's me who gets elected. I just want somebody to fix the problems. And I think I've been lucky enough to get a master's degree and have other skills. But it's more what I want our society to achieve rather than what I personally want to achieve.
Name?
You, certainly.
Hi, my name is Joey, and what do you think of overfishing?
So the question is, what do you think of overfishing?
As for overfishing, I think we need to obviously reduce it. We can't harvest more of a natural resource than grows back. Overfishing is a bit complex because how we manage natural resources can greatly affect the quality of, or how much we can harvest. For example, with fish, if you fish really tiny fish, they can have baby fish, right? So then the population doesn't grow. Also, one thing that's really important is we could actually increase the amount of fish we catch if we had certain areas called marine conservation areas or marine protected areas. They're like national or provincial parks, but they're in the water, and that's really important to help fish do better. Another thing we need to do is get rid of fish farms and be careful when we're logging around streams. In the far back, someone had a question? Yeah, go ahead.
What are some of your basic beliefs?
What are some of your basic beliefs?
Basic beliefs. Yes, the Charter of Rights. I believe in intergenerational equality. I believe everybody has the right to free speech, freedom of conscience, and that we should ensure that the next generation has opportunities like this generation.
Thank you.
Oh,
Hi, I'm Kai, and what will you do about veteran affairs?
The question is, what would you do to address veteran affairs
in
issues?
regards to veteran affairs, we will ensure that people who have served our country will have a full pension. What the government has done about just giving a lump sum cash payment, so here's like $40,000, is not fair. I think these people have risked their life and limb for our country, and we should take care of them.
Nice shoes.
Yeah, you can thank my mother for the suggestion. Oh. Go ahead.
My name is Lane, and why has there not been any signs for your party in the town?
So the question is, why are there not many signs for your party?
There are a few. We don't have as large of a budget as other political parties, and it took me a while to get my 100 signatures to get on the ballot so I could actually start buying signs and that. So that's why you haven't seen too many of them. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Carter. How would you deal with drugs?
The question is, how would you deal with drugs?
I think what we need to do is we need to treat drug addiction as a health issue rather than locking up people who use drugs. The problem with our current approach is it doesn't help people who are addicted to drugs move towards a more healthy lifestyle. Does that answer your question? Okay.
We have one more question.
How can you help immigration?
How can we help immigration?
With other people coming from different countries.
Okay, so you're asking more of a general question about how we would change immigration policy. One of the big things we would do is try to help ensure that foreign credentials are recognized. So for instance, what will happen is you can have a lot of people who will come, for example, from India, and they're doctors or engineers, but they're driving a taxi because all the experience they have in another country is recognized. What we want to see is those skills recognized so they can contribute more to Canadian society as well as provide a better life for their families.
Thank you for your questions. We have one more summary question, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
And that is, you're seeking to be the Chilliwack-Hope representative in the House of Commons. And so if you are successful and you are elected, what would be the single most important personal or party thing that you would like to achieve during that term?
Our policy, or my personal priority, would be action on climate change. That would mean putting a price on carbon across the economy, as well as generating or planning out a legislated phase out of fossil fuels in Canada by 2050.
Okay, thank you very much, Thomas. That concludes our presentation by Thomas Cheney from the Green Party of Canada. Thank you very much for stopping by and for sharing your party platform and for helping these kids be more engaged with citizenship and democracy. Really appreciate it. I'm going to turn the feed off now, but if you want to tell us maybe while we're here how you